Hey guys, welcome back to tutorial number 18, and in this tutorial we are going to enter into a new public transport, which is the train services in Singapore. So in Singapore there are MRT and LRT, and in overall we call it train, but in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can put all the trains including LRT and MRT into the map view. So when you click on it, it's going to pop up a dialog to show you the details, including the latitude, longitude, the name, the address of that particular train station, and you have the marker or the icons that is basically located on the map view, and the location is going to be the exact location of where the train station is in the Singapore. So yeah, and also in the next 3 tutorials is also going to be focused on the train, including the train service alert, if there is any train that is broken down, and then train map. I'm going to show you a map in which you can see all the train services in Singapore, and also a train fare, how much it take from one side of Singapore to the other side of Singapore, things like that. And if you want to understand a little bit more about the content of the next few tutorials, feel free to visit my website learndatascience.com and then look at the table of content of this entire series. So you see tutorial number 18, we are going to cover the map view, and then the next one is going to be a train service alert, and then we also will have a train map screen and then a train fare screen with Kivy tabs. Cool. So I just want to do a quick recap about where we are now in our MyTransportApp script. So we have the home screen, and then we have our GPS blinker, and then we have our navigation drawer. So we also have our taxi screen, which shows all the taxi and the taxi stands nearby. And then we also have our bus screen. So we have bus stop screen and bus services screen with the backdrop. So you have the front layer with the map view and back layer with the list. We also have our bus services screen. Okay. So in the bus stop screen, if you click into the bus stop banner, it's going to bring us to the bus arrival screen, which will show you all the estimated arrival time of all bus services that are available at this bus stop. As you click on the bus arrival banner, it's going to bring you to the bus route screen. Okay, so we have one-way bus route screen and two-way bus route screen. So the bus route screen is going to show you on the back layer with a map view of all the bus stop is going to pass through and has passed through, and the front layer is going to be a list in the scroll view. Okay. So just a short recap, and then next when we click on the MRT and LRT, we want to go to the map view for MRT and LRT, but for the moment if you click it, it's going to crash because we haven't defined and we haven't created our MRT and LRT screen yet, which is the next thing that I want to show you in this tutorial. So before I go to that, just a quick reminder, if you haven't downloaded this app, MyTransportApp from Google Play Store, please feel free to download it, because this is going to be the baseline that we want to create at the end of the series. We are going to create a MyTransportApp into an APK file, and then we are going to release it to the Google Play Store. And yeah, this app is going to be what we are going to create at the end of the series. Okay, and if you like my content, feel free to support me at buymeacoffee.com/markerstrong123, which is my page. And without wasting your time, let's go to my web-based version tutorial, learndatascience.com, and then look at tutorial number 18. Okay, so the step 1, always, if you want to go to a new screen, always we have to create a new class for that screen. So first create a class in our main.py. Let's cross this, then go all the way up above our main app. Let's create a new class called MRT and LRT screen. And the next thing is we want to go to main.kv to include the kv file that we are going to create, so which is the second step. So we will create the MRT and LRT screen.kv in our kv folder later. Let's include it for the moment, and then Also under the navigation layout screen manager, we want to have this screen available so that when we ask the screen manager to bring us to this screen, it knows what to do. So the next thing is in the Kivy folder, we want to create a screen for this MRT and LRT screen. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we are going to copy all this. Paste it here. Okay, let me explain what it's about. So we basically include the map view here from MRT folder. Later on we are going to create an MRT folder to display to create our map view .py and mapview.kv, and then we want to include it here. And then now we create an MRT and LRT screen. So in this screen is going to be a float layout, and then inside the float layout is going to be a lot grid layout. So we have two main grid layout. One is for the map view. It's going to take up 89.5% of the screen. Sorry, it's going to be positioned at 89.5% of the screen, and then it's going to take up 79.5% of the screen. And the ID is going to have a MRT and LRT map view. So this map view is going to be created here. Okay, and then we have another grid layout. So the first grid layout is this. Then the second grid layout is going to be our bottom navigation bar. Okay, and we have a back button, MRT LRT button, which is this one. So when we first come to this screen, right, it's going to first bring you to the MRT and LRT screen. Okay, and then we have our service alert screen, tram map screen, and also the fare screen. So you can see that if you want to make a next line for the next word, you can use this /n, and then if you want to make underline, you can use this to your to your text or label. Okay, so the rest is about creating a button, and then you can create a canvas, okay, with the color that you want. So the color is going to be same as the primary color of the app if we didn't click it, but when you click it, it's going to change the color to a different hex code color. And now on release, we are going to call a function at the main.py to change the screen to the screen that we want to go to. Okay. So yeah, if we include this, when we run it, it's going to crash because we haven't created the MRT and LRT map view. Let's remove it for the moment, and then I want to show you that. No, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back, and then let's proceed to the next step first. Okay. So in the change screen function, we say that if the screen name is equal to MRT and LRT screen, then we want to do something. So let's go all the way down. Okay, put it here. So when we change to MRT and LRT screen, we want to change the title to MRT LRT, and then we want to refer to the map view ID in the LRT and LRT screen, which is this one. We want to refer to this so that we can create our map view later. So a map view is going to be added to this ID here. Okay. So yeah, let's remove this, and then let's run the app. And then as you click on the MRT LRT screen, it's going to bring you to a blank screen. Okay, so as we click on this, boom, now we have our MRT and LRT screen, but there is nothing yet. So we are going to create our map view, so that on the second grid layout we already have all these label button available. Okay, so let's close this, and then moving on, we want to see first we want to have the MRT LRT data available, and then next we want to create a map view, and then lastly we want to create a GPS helper. Okay, I'm sure you pretty know about how to create a map view and GPS helper by now already, but the question is about how to get the data of MRT and LRT. Okay, So let's go back here and bring it back, this code. Okay. Again, let's see in our step 6. So I've collected all the data of LRT and MRT in Singapore, and then I saved them in 2 different CSV files. So you can actually go to my GitHub repository and look for these 2 CSV files and download it to your computer. Okay, and I have already done that, and then I save it in the same folder as my MyTransportApp. So I have this and this. Let's open it up and see what is inside. Okay, so we have our MRT, latitude, longitude, road name, building address, and poster. Okay, and so MRT is going to be the list of all MRT in Singapore, and then we have our latitude and longitude of each MRT. Then we will have our road name, building, and the address and postal code. These are the things that we want to display as a user click the button on the map view, and then we want to show then this data in the dialog. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's look at the LRT Node Header. Okay, yeah, so this is for the LRT station. We have about 41 LRT station, and the MRT, I'm not sure why there's a header here. It's supposed to have no header in the CSV file, but if the version that you download has got the header, please feel free to delete the header. Make sure that there's no header in your CSV file. Save it and close it. Okay, again, let me repeat it. Make sure that these 2 CSV files that you are having has got no header. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is to create 2 tables in the myapp.db. One is going to be the LRT, one is going to be the MRT. So previously I showed you that you can create a table with using create_db.py. Well, actually I want to also show you another method which you can do it in your command prompt. So I show you 2 ways of doing it so that you know that there is such a method exists of how to create a table in your database, SQLite 3 database. So let's go to our folder, MyTransportApp, and then you're going to say cmd command prompt. So when we add at the command prompt, you can say SQLite 3 myapp.db, and then it's going to bring us to our myapp.db. Okay, and the next thing that we want to do is to create a table if not exists LRT. We want to create LRT table if the table doesn't exist yet. Paste it, enter. Okay, and then we want to change the mode to a CSV mode before we can add. We are able to import the LRT Node Header CSV file, the information or the content into this LRT table. So let's run this, and then let's run this. Okay, it's important to have this CSV file available in the same folder where you run the command prompt, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, then we want to do the same thing for the MRT, and then .mode CSV, and then this one. Okay, now you can actually use the database browser to see whether you have created a table and imported the content successfully. Let me open it up. If you haven't downloaded it on your computer, feel free to go to this link to download the database browser. Okay. Where is my database browser? Let's see. There you go. So let's open the database. MyTransportApp, my app. Okay, now you can see I have LRT and MRT table inside my database. So if you go to browse data, and if you go to LRT, boom, now we have all the LRT data information available here. The reason why we don't need to include the header in the CSV file is that when we create a table, the column name is already been created. Okay, same for the MRT station. Okay, we have around 122 MRT stations in Singapore. So as the number of LRT and MRT in Singapore increase, you want to update your list in this CSV file, and then you do the same thing again in updating your database in the myapp.db. Okay, I will leave it to you. Okay, good. Let's close this, leave it, and then move on to the next step. So in the change screen function, let's say if the screen is go to MRT and LRT screen, we want to try to check if there is any map view. We're going to walk through this screen, and then we're going to check if there is any map view class. If there is, we want to remove it before we create the new one. So that is the same for any of the map view screen that we have created before. So let's copy this. Then here, and then make sure we have the correct indentation. Try and accept should be in the same line. Okay, so then we define that self.mrt LRT Mapview is equal to MRT LRT Mapview class, instantiate it, and then we are going to use this one to add region. This one, we will add the map view to the MRT and LRT screen, and then we want the map view to center on the current latitude and current longitude, which is on the top. Okay, and then we want to define the MRT and LRT map view to be object property. Okay, and then now we create an MRT and LRT folder, and then inside of it we create MRT and LRT Mapview.py, new folder, MRT LRT folder, and then MRT LRT Mapview.py. Okay, cool. And then let's copy all this and put it inside. Save it. Alright, let me explain what is going to happen here. So create a class called MRT LRT Mapview. Okay, let's move on to the next step first, because we also need to create this MRT LRT Mapview.kv. And we need to have all this inside here. So as you create the MRT LRT screen, it's going to first define your zoom as 15. When you double tap zoom, it's going to zoom in. Double tap the screen, it's going to zoom in. So the maximum zoom that you can have is 15. If the zoom is less than 15, it's going to default back to 15. And on let and on long, as the user, there are two conditions. First is, as the map is first created, this self.getting MRT LRT in field view will be called the function, or as the user change the latitude or longitude of the map view, this function will also be called. And then in our map view, we have our GPS blinker. So as this function is being called, first it will try to cancel this timer. This timer is going to be a clock, and then so as this function is going to ask the clock to check if the user stay on that particular map view for 1 second or more. If there is a case, then we this club is going to call this function called get MRT and LRT in field of view. So if the user navigate the screen and the user stays at that screen for more than 1 second, okay, we will use this function to get the minimum and maximum latitude of that particular screen using the self.getBbox function. And then we are going to execute 2 SQL statements. The first statement is going to help us to select the data from the MRT table in our myapp.tv, and then we're going to do a filter by where the latitude and longitude of the MRT should be within the maximum and minimum latitude and longitude of our current screen. So we will check if the latitude is more than the min long, and so longitude is more than the min long, and longitude is less than the max long, and latitude is more than the min lat, and latitude is less than the max lat. We will check, and then if that is the case, then this MRT will be displayed. When we execute it, we are going to fetch it to this MRT's variable. Then we do the same thing for the LRT. So for each MRT in the MRTs, we are going to get the name of the MRT, and then we are going to store in a variable. Okay, if we are going to store in the variable here. Okay, so we will check if the name already exists in this variable. Okay, we will not display again, otherwise we will call this add MRT function. So this add MRT function is going to take the latitude and longitude of that particular MRT, and then we will use the MRT marker to display onto our map view. Okay, and then we're going to append the name to this variable so that we do not display it on the map view again and again. Okay, so this one is the same for the LRT. Okay, so we have 2 classes, MRT marker and LRT marker. Okay, and the next thing is to create MRT LRT marker.py, which is our next step in our tutorial. And then we want to copy this and paste it here. So this marker is going to be MRT marker is going to use the MRT icon. It's going to be looks like this, and then the LRT one is going to look like this. Okay, and both of them are going to be a pop-up menu. So here I define the size of the pop-up menu. So and as we click on the marker, it's going to, when we release it, it's going to create a pop-up, and then it's going to pass the data, the MRT data or the LRT data to that pop-up menu. Okay, then we want to create MRT LRT pop-up menu.py, and then copy this, paste it here. So this pop-up menu, one for MRT and LRT, this will be the header of the MRT pop-up menu, and then this will be the header for LRT pop-up menu. So then here we set attribute, which means we assign the value of the MRT data that we pass it here to the header. Okay, same for the LRT, and then we're going to pass it to the MRT and LRT MD dialog in our Kivy md.uix.dialog. So if you're using my Kivy MD from my GitHub, you will already have this dialog available in your Kivy MD. Yep. So we have one class for the MRT MD dialog, and we have one class for the LRT MD dialog. And then we define the variable. They are all going to be string property. So these are variables that will be used to store the variable that we set here, the value, the attribute value. So we use this variable to store the attribute value, and then as we build the class with the builder.loadString function, we can refer to the root.latitude or root.longitude to retrieve the attribute value from our class. Okay, so you will have one for MRT MD dialog, and then you will have one for LRT MD dialog. Okay. So step 18 and 19 are explaining about the kivymd.uix.dialog. So as I mentioned, if you copy the kivymd folder from my GitHub repository, you already have this information available. Okay. So last three steps under the main.py, of course, you want to import. This is not bus service. This is going to be MRT LRT Mapview.class. I'm going to update this one later. You know, sometimes we do copy and paste and then we forgot to change it. That happens. Okay. And then lastly, we want to create a GPS helper. .py. And then let's copy all this. Well, I believe by now you should be very familiar with GPS helper because I have covered it so many times in the previous Mapview tutorial. Excuse me. So the whole reason is really to link to your GPS on your device or on your phone, and then once you get the position from the GPS on your device, it's going to update the map view position, and then it's going to update your blinker position and ask your blinker to blink. Okay, and then it's going to give you a warning if you didn't turn on your GPS on your phone. Okay, and then to call the GPS helper to run, we need to include it in our if screen is going to be is equal to MRT LRT screen, then we want to call our GPS helper to run. Oops, what did I do? Save it, and I think we are done. Let's run it. Okay, no error. There you go. Let's click on the MRT LRT screen. Boom. Now, here is a nearby MRT LRT. As you click on the icon, boom, it's going to give you. Oops, I need to change this. It's not car park details. You need to change it to like MRT details. So this one is Newton MRT, this one Somerset MRT, the road name, building name, address, postal code. Okay. Cool. As you move on from one to another, it will show you all the other MRT LRT nearby. So I need to go to kivymd.uix.dialog, and then here we need to change it. This is going to be LRT details. Okay, and then this is going to be MRT details. Okay, save it, and let's run it again. There you go. Click on it. MRT details. Okay. Cool. So that's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to handle the service alert, which will show you all the trains that are under maintenance or service or broken down, and that is going to be a page with some text, and then we are going to handle how to wrap the text. Okay. How to wrap the text is longer than the screen. Okay. All right. Going to stop here. See you again. Bye bye.